Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself. I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
What on earth is going on? Welcome into JJ and Alex.
Hey, who's this?
Welcome into JJ, sometimes Alex. Hey, the gang's back together again. Look at that.
It's been a minute.
Yes,
it's been
it
a
has.
minute.
Everybody. I appreciate everybody holding the fort down while I was gone. No, let me clear up a few things. No, I'm not. I did not have an eighth child. No, we did not. Okay?
Yet.
Oh, man, I lost $10.
Jeremy will bet on anything. And
Degenerate.
then you degenerate you. And no, I'm not in a serious relationship with Alex Morello anymore. That ended very quickly.
Well, he probably forgot who you were because the dude has dementia. I'm telling you.
I had a press conference I was supposed to be at today.
So
Well,
grateful.
tell him I'm not going to be there.
Ryan and Ashley Smith versus Alex Morello.
Oh my gosh! Could you imagine? That's why
Holy crap.
That's why Gary Bettman's his best friend right now.
Oh my gosh! The
He's like,
NHL couldn't get rid of that guy fast enough.
You'll respond to text messages.
Oof.
Look at that.
I own media companies, but I hate the media,
Oh,
bro.
I do. I think it was funny because they set up all those press conferences. I'm going to explain in due time what happened. Did he ever end up doing it? He never did it, right? The initial because the one where he was going to explain what happened.
So while you're
He didn't
gone,
do it.
the final week, like in the final days, he shows up on Arizona Sports, our sister station down
Right.
in Arizona. It was brutal, and they have it on TV. You can go watch it. It's on their YouTube channel. And I'm like, this is their owner. Like he's stumbling like around. He's like really doesn't make any sense.
Oh no! He is an awful listen.
Oh boy,
He's terrible.
and
Listening.
then so the day of the press conference here on Friday, Bettman goes down to Phoenix in the morning, and Morello and Bettman do a press conference.
Okay, they did it.
And he's just getting really, really agitated with the whole thing. And Bettman keeps having to step in and basically interpret for him to try to smooth things over.
He showed up thinking he was going to still make a land deal at that press conference. Is that what happened? He goes, "We're really looking. We're excited.
It was weird.
We're excited about. Maybe not the Coyotes, but I don't know what's another desert animal.
He'll let you not forget. He's still the owner of the Coyotes.
Yes, he
will
yeah.
not let you not forget.
He lied to the media during the press conference, too. He said he spent $7 million of his own money to go canvassing to get the vote in Tempe.
on.
Like he was knocking doors. And a reporter, like within minutes, publishes on Twitter, no, they only spent like $1 million in stuff. Like he way over exaggerated what he did.
He only spent $1 million. It was on a sandwich shop. He's trying to open a Blimpie down there, a Porta Subs down there.
Dude needs a Diet Coke or something, man. Like it's not working upstairs.
Blast of energy. So, but seriously though, what did I miss while I was gone?
Not much.
Nothing?
No.
All right. Let me see here.
So I think BYU men's basketball has a new head coach. Danny Ainge met with the media postseason.
Okay, so that press conference. Now I was gone, but I actually listened to that press conference in its entirety. And it was not the rosy, happy feeling that I thought it was going to be. No. It was like a dose of some harsh reality for Jazz fans, right?
It was candid, is the word I would use to describe
I
it,
loved
and
it.
I appreciate it.
I loved it
because he didn't try to sell some kind of sunshine and rainbows picture. Like he knows this is a grind because he's done it before, and he didn't try to put on this thing where don't worry, we're gonna do this, and he was great. But he also made it clear that he used the phrase "we're going big game hunting," which we get what that means. Like they want to go do something big,
and
but you can't go get the big buck if the big buck you don't find him. So it's a great analogy.
We could use some of the Bucks, some of the Milwaukee Bucks. over here in town. We could go get some big bucks. Come on.
There might be some big bucks available, although the way the playoffs are going right now, it's kind of chalk. But
I have no idea
we can talk about that later.
What to think about the NBA playoffs. Okay, so we did get an NHL team. We were anticipating this was all going to go down.
Oh yeah, and that,
what were we all saying?
Just the most historic,
is that all?
Groundbreaking, seismic change in Utah sports history in the last 30 years.
Yeah,
that's all. Nothing. No big deal.
I didn't miss anything else.
Is there more, Jeremy?
I'm trying to think. By the way,
you were just describing
getting
traded.
I know you were
so
just
close.
You were just describing. I know I should have taken today off too. You were just describing Kevin Young's contract. You weren't even talking about the NHL team coming to town. You were like the seismic biggest thing we've ever heard out of
Kentucky.
Provo.
Did we say that?
Mark Pope, the whole Mark Pope drama, and there was drama there. Like that whole situation. Like BYU lost a coach and hired a coach while you were gone.
Yeah.
And all of Utah State's football team.
That too.
Yikes. And the hits keep coming on that, by the way, too, right? Utah State football taking a massive hit over the last couple days.
Yeah, they lost another today. We'll get into that. But you missed Utah spring game.
Oh, I dipped in.
Apparently you didn't miss it.
I dipped in and I went, oh yeah, I remember how this goes. See you later. I'm excited to be back. So I appreciate you guys holding down the fort. Yes, this is the most time I've ever taken off in my entire adult life. And apparently that's what people do. And when I say that's what people do, like we had a baby almost a year ago and I took no time off. So they encouraged me to take some of that paternity leave. So I didn't even know I thought we had 5 kids. Turns out we had 2 more. I just met them this last 3 weeks. I just met them. They're brand new.
What are their names?
Oh, don't ask me that. That's way too much. That's way too over the top.
Now Alex wants to get to the cut.
Don't ask me to do that. All right, we'll get to we've got so many things to get through because I mean, frankly,
I'll walk you through this today.
I'm trying to. The thing is I had to follow
Let me
all of
help
it.
you.
I followed all of it while I was gone. With a massive chuckle underneath my breath going, this is what they're having to. Now, on the other hand, too, like you hate missing all this stuff. I love being here for when all this. I'm here for all the other things that did ever happen. And then suddenly they go, hey, take time after the Jazz season is over because they stink and they lost, 19 out of the last 21 games or whatever it was. No one's paying that much attention. This is a good time for you to sneak away. No thanks. All right, we'll kick the show off as we always do with the cut. Our program is brought to you by G2G Bars. All natural ingredients and no preservatives make the G2G Bar perfect for anybody who needs a quick, tasty, nutritious boost. So let's kick off the hour, as we always do. With the cut, we'll jump in right here, and I'll get an update on the entirety of the sports world here in Utah.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
6,000 of the first people that came in out of the 27,000, only 400 were season ticket holders for the Jazz. So it's a little bit of a different demographic. We saw that with UFC a little bit. We've seen it with some of the concerts. I'm a data guy. I come from a data and analytics tech world. But then there becomes this moment of passion and gut and predictability. I think no one would have predicted what happened in Vegas with the Golden Knights and how that took off. I think we're a little bit in that same spot.
That is Ryan Smith of Ryan and Ashley Smith fame, who now are not just owners of the Utah Jazz, Real Salt Lake, the Utah Royals, but also now an NHL franchise. Is this right, though? The number is at $5.5 billion, according to Forbes, what his sports portfolio
is
now
correct.
worth. Not bad.
$5.5 billion, and I think he's got to get this hockey thing rolling, but I don't think he's done.
No. Oh, you mean like with more?
Not imminently. No, I don't know anything. He's not going to just sit
Frisbee?
back.
You got to own that Ultimate Frisbee.
Ryan is 45 years old, and this is just going to grow. He's going to want more teams.
Isn't that depressing that he's our age? Isn't it depressing that he's got $5.5 billion worth of sports teams in his back pocket?
It's crazy.
And we're over here refilling our water bottles at the company cooler during the break.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, it's unfair sometimes. But Ryan Smith and Ashley Smith, now owners of this NHL franchise. Now, the name thing's been big. The name thing has been big over the past little while. And the big one, of course, now is that they're going to whittle it down and then put them on a bracket for us, right?
Ryan's mentioned that today.
Okay. The good news about this, or bad, is you're not going to get the Salt Lake Bodie McBoat faces, right? Is that what the internet's not going to vote for you totally on it?
You
could game
try
the system.
write-in mode. Let's do it. Let's try it.
You could game the system.
Bodie McBoat face.
Remember Bodie McBoat face?
That's an all-timer.
And look, I think that at one point, when Farmington High School, I think was brand new. That whole name thing got a little bit out of hand.
The Phoenuses?
Okay.
Is that what you're talking about? That's the plural of Phoenix.
That's the plural of Phoenix.
And that did not go over well.
Okay.
I think Farmington Phoenix is awesome.
All right, so
I think it's worked out great.
So the town that my high school is known for is it's a big ferry terminal in Washington, right? So you go from one city to another, and we were this close to being the Mukilteo ferries. I kid you not. I kid you not. And there was going to be a guy that was literally Bodie McBoat face, like it was the guy going to be in
literally.
It was going to be a guy in a boat outfit. So luckily, we did not end up being the ferries, but weirder things have happened in sports. So what are we going to end up being? And I was trying to figure out. And this is something, too, that I was listening to Hans and Scotty the way in, and I thought for sure the slam dunk that we talked about months ago was the Utah Yeti, right? And now everybody's off of it. Now everybody's not that cool with it anymore. Not going to happen. Or, well, it's going to be on the list. But I was, Venom? Is that a for real deal?
The
trademark is taken out?
Trademarked last Tuesday.
So the
Utah
trademarks
Venom.
And the trademarks don't mean necessarily those are going to be the ones in the bracket either.
Right. We don't know who submitted those. I guess you can look into that.
I mean, that's somebody trolling, right? That's Ryan and Ashley Smith trolling. They go, yeah, no, Venom. We took out the
fun
trademark.
Troll. You could do all kinds of crazy stuff.
How much it cost to file for a trademark, Jeremy? Hey, Jeremy, how much it costs to file for a trademark? I want one by the end of the show that we have filed for. We got to come up with it, but let's figure it out because I want to get some names on this. By the way, the possibility of a placeholder name like the Utah Hockey Club, that's been floated also. They go, well, we want to get the name right, so maybe this first year it's just the Utah guys. It's just the Utah Hockey Fellers. And I hate that idea. I hate the idea of us pulling a Washington Commanders for 1 year and just being the Washington football team, being the Utah Hockey Club.
Would you rather spend millions on a marketing campaign around your initial choice and find out that
nobody likes it?
Not only people here don't like it, but the entire world hates it?
We seem to be okay with it with the jersey, the jersey colors and things like that.
No, they're not. That's going away.
No, that's what I'm saying is
that was a disaster.
It was.
You think Ryan wants to go through that again?
Ooh, boy. All right.
He's going to wait.
Are you really going to turn it over to the fans?
Absolutely, 100%. It's not your fault.
Man. Okay, so what do we have so far then? And by the way, I was fascinated by the poll question that Scotty put out there of who's going to go to the playoffs first, the Jazz or the Utah hockey team.
The answer's obvious.
Well, the answer's obvious for people where they are in their heads right now, which is there are two things going on. There's a bigger rebuild than we thought with Utah Jazz, right? And then second of all, there's a crazy amount of energy around this hockey team and a lot more hope.
There's a lot of talent on that team and
there's a lot more. And there's a lot more. Yes.
And a lot of cap space that the general manager, Bill Armstrong, is now going to have license to go out and spend.
Is Armstrong going to be? They're going to keep everybody.
100%.
Right? He's one of the better GMs in the whole league.
Ryan was clear on Friday. He said the only thing he purchased here was the people. He's going to need them. He's going to need the GM and the head coach. He's going to need all these players because that's all they have. Like he says, they don't even know if they have the machine that sharpens the skates. They're only taking the players and the staff. They're just the operations side. Everything else stays. So, yeah.
Well, did you say they need a skate sharpener?
They might.
My kid's available. He'll be over there. Mind if I sharpen your skates?
What kind of sick child labor thing you got going on in your house?
Listen,
in the
year
2024, you have your kids manually sharpen ice skates?
Oh, yeah. That's what the new... No, this is the 15-year-old. I want to get, I want him to have a sense of worth. You know what I mean? Get him out, get him out there. I sharpened skates for Ryan and Ashley Smith for the first couple of years of my working life. By the way,
that's a hard worker.
Right there. Yeah, man. So that's not the Zamboni? The skate sharpener is not the Zamboni?
In the year 2024, they have machines that sharpen the skates.
I know.
They just need to buy one. Because they don't have one.
And now we get our own Zambonis. You don't have to borrow them from the Maverick Center.
Did you know they were invented here in Utah?
Look at that. See, the stuff I didn't learn over the weekend or over the last couple of weeks when I've been gone.
We're all hockey all the time.
That's all we do.
We know what icing is. We know what offsides is in hockey. We understand we know what we can break down we can break down the Metropolitan Division. We're all good.
Oh my gosh.
We're all in. We're all hockey all the time.
It's not that you need to be an expert, but how is it that Utah can just be better at whatever Arizona did for the last 25 years? The last 28 years.
Period. Ownership, period.
Okay, so
that's simple.
But the fan base was also, what did we hear? The fan base in Arizona was fiery, but few. And so,
well, after 29 years of having your teeth kicked in by a bad owner,
oh come on,
there's our friends down south.
Now, this is when I pull a Jeremiah Jensen and go, oh. The tears of the Phoenixes, they taste so beautiful. People from Phoenix.
Coyotes fans' tears are delicious.
Right.
No, I'm not going to do that.
I'm not going to pounce on their hockey grave.
I feel so bad for them because they deserve so much better. And I think I would love to see them get it. I mean, that would be a nice little fun rivalry to have an Arizona team back. Just can't be that owner. I'm telling you. That Morello owner is not getting it right. That is a disaster.
Yeah.
There's no way they can get hockey back. And I think Bettman knows it. And I think that's why Bettman was so desperate to get this deal done. And now he's like, because they've got these stipulations. He has 5 years. And he has to give them a year and a half notice before they reactivate the franchise. It has to be done within a 5-year window. There's no way they're making it.
No.
And so that he can move on from him and then court some other Phoenix.
So
he wants to be in Phoenix, just not with that owner. It was the only way to get free of this.
Do you remember? So this has been going on for 6 or 8 months, right? Where we had the rumors would pop up periodically.
When I first started the show with you, we were talking about this back in the fall.
Right.
The possibilities. It was a pipe dream at that point. It was like this Arizona team has a problem. Ryan Smith wants the NHL. He's publicly saying it.
Gary Bettman likes
confirmed.
him. Right.
Bill Daley confirmed. They had all been meeting. So we're like, okay, let's put 2 and 2 together. How can this happen? Well, when are they going to expand? Probably not a while, but there is this franchise that has an arena problem down in Arizona.
And we just assumed it was going to take a while. And you know what? Even when in the last couple of weeks when it got down to it, we had been hearing, dude, maybe June. They might make an announcement as soon as June. Right? And that was like another date that was given out. We were
before you left. That was
it was like, oh, June.
We were hearing rumors.
And then it was like, hey, man, the NHL season ends on the 18th, technically. And they might make the announcement that day. And that's exactly when it happened.
The date to remember, March 6th. Why? Because that was a day that Bettman first approached Alex Morello with this idea to see if he would even consider it.
Everybody else, that's the crazy thing. Everybody else is behind closed doors doing this entire work behind it. And then they go, when are you going to talk to Alex Morello? That's complicated. And then you have to make it sound like it's his idea. You got to make it sound like it's Alex Morello's idea. Oh, I don't know. Sell it? You're crazy. I don't know. We could get you a franchise here maybe in the future. I don't know. You can get that land deal done. We can figure it out. Here are the names, by the way, that are right now with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. Did we find out how much that is? Is it above Nate's budget? Okay. Let's just see if we can put away some dollars, maybe throw our own name into the mix here. Or maybe can you do the same thing like when you do the website thing, JJ? You
can buy a domain.
File for it.
It's the same deal.
Yeah. And then they go, $20,000? All right. Well,
there was a rumor floating around. There was a rumor floating around. I don't know if it's true. It was floating around over the weekend on social media that somebody in Draper, and Jeremy looked this up, somebody in Draper bought the Utah Yetis.
Uh-oh.
But there's a rumor that somebody in power here bought that out.
Oh, well,
Total
that's why
rumor. Just throwing it out for fun.
But that's why you do it in the first place, right? That's a $20,000 gamble. It's not like buying the domain on GoDaddy's a little bit better than having to fork out $20,000 for a patent and trademark filing.
No
All right.
doubt.
Utah Blizzard Yeah, you just give me your first thoughts on these because these are the ones that might be on the list.
So that you right out of the gate, we did some stuff while you were gone on social media, and I even did this on Thursday night.
What tests
when
better?
The deal was made.
What tests better out of all the ones you talked about?
Which tests better?
Yeah.
I think the Yetis is I think people really kind of like that. I threw out the Blizzard with the Yeti mascot, so you combine the two together. You don't have to be called the Yetis, but the Yeti's your mascot.
No.
Now,
an obvious Dairy Queen tie-in, too, for a sponsorship.
Since we have so many here in Utah. How about Arctic Circle? Know where you live. Know your audience.
Come on, man. All right.
Arctic Circle and some fry sauce. So, but before you move on with the list, here's the problem that people have with that is it's just too much like the Colorado Avalanche.
And too many Z's. Like we have
I know we're trying to get away from
we're
that. We're
averse to the Z's.
It would make sense.
Bit.
And they could wear purple too, just like the Jazz, because it's
dude, would we do the full mountains and just steal the entire
basically just turn a Jazz jersey into a hockey sweater next year?
Where does it work? Works in Pittsburgh, right? You got
black and yellow,
the Penguins.
Black and yellow.
you got the Penguins, you got the Steelers, you got the Piratas.
Yeah, all three of them.
Ooh, you know
Black
what?
and yellow.
They had that movie they shot out here, Pirates of the Great Salt Lake. Why don't you have the Utah Pirates? Hockey Pirates. Utah Venom. That one seems like that one's the fake one, right? Cannot be. We're not going that route. I don't know what that is. What is that?
It's just lame.
Okay. Utah Fury?
I don't hate it.
Or did we misspell furry?
Oh boy. Not now. Not now.
All right. Moving right on. Utah Hockey Club?
No, he's been gone for 3 weeks.
Oh, did I miss out on something?
Oh, you did, yeah. We got a little furry controversy here in Utah. We won't talk about it in Sports Talk Radio.
I love it.
Some kids made some stuff up and their parents bought it.
Oh, no.
So we'll just leave it at that.
All right. Utah Hockey Club or Utah HC, that's kind of all the same, right? The Yetis and the Outlaws, those are the teams that are out there as well. All right. I don't know which ones are going to end up on the final bracket. I'd love the idea of the bracket. I mean, that's a way better way to do it because you can at least control, hey, these are the 8. But there are also the weirdos that will get on there, and they'll try to what did they call it? They BYU a poll, right?
Yeah,
they go on there.
It's called Jimmer the Poll.
They Jimmer the poll.
BYU fans are the best at it.
And they go out there and they go, hey, and if you're in Arizona, the way you get back at Utah is you rig the bracket for the worst name on there, so we can walk away from this
Utah
thing,
HC,
which could be Utah HC. Although I like it better than the Venom. Venom sounds like we are trying
another
way
one
too
for
hard.
You that wasn't on that list. The Outlaws is someone that's gaining.
They
a
just
lot of
added
steam.
it to the list.
They just added it.
Yes,
okay, so
it's on there. I'm okay with that.
That's gaining a lot of traction among people on social media, but yeah, it makes sense. Who's the
Hamburglar?
The Outlaws in the past. Like,
they're talking about the outlaw, most famous Outlaws
Butch the
ever.
Sundance Kid or whatever.
Oh,
who
Butch
was
Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Butch Cassidy, Sundance Kid. Which one was he the one? Billy the Kid?
No,
or which
Billy
one was,
the Kid.
Which one was in Utah?
Yeah, I mean Billy the Kid may have been here. We don't know all of it. But Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, those are.
It does tie into the history of the state.
Yeah. No, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna get it all done. I did think it was interesting because what's the number right now? What did Ryan just mention? What did Ryan Smith mention on the Pat McAfee show? Jeremy, play it again because I think the season ticket thing. He brought up the first 6,000 and only 400 of those were Jazz season ticket holders. But he also threw out the number of actual deposits that are in there.
6,000 of the first people that came in out of the 27,000, only 400 were season ticket holders for the Jazz. So it's a little bit of a different demographic. We saw that with UFC a little bit.
All right, so there you go. 27,000. So they're probably around 30,000 now.
For an arena that's going to seat 16,400 next year. 17
and 4,000 and 4,000 of those aren't going to be able to see the entire ice.
Exactly.
So that's how much we're involved, man. That's how crazy it is. What's wild is that the NHL and the NBA run at the exact same time. And I don't know how we're going to be able to marry all of that together.
I know exactly how. It's completely different fan base and audience.
Oh, for sure. I'm saying for us. I'm saying for us to get this done.
Nobody listening cares about us.
How's this going to happen?
We'll figure it out. Well, we got to hire more people.
Hey, Lloyd, are we going to be the home of everything? Can we? It's like we got a physics problem here. Got to have space for it.
Can't be everywhere all the time.
Come on, man.
We'll try our best, though.
We'll take a break here. We'll come back. We got tons going on, and not the least of which is trying to update me on things that have happened. Apparently, I already had a faux pas the very first segment. Don't care. You know why? Because I've been gone. All right, so we'll take a break. We've got more to chat about around the corner, by the way, because we are getting to know so many of our hockey friends, of our hockey media friends. Travis Yost going to join us from TSN. If you don't know TSN, by the way, this is Canada's ESPN, the original kind of like real sports network up there in Canada that is, and they do all of it. So we'll have Travis Yost will join us, and we'll get a little bit of an idea as to what we're going to expect here in Salt Lake City and what's going to work. And can we mimic what they did in Vegas? I know that's what everybody wants to know. It's not just about getting a team here. It's about winning as well. Stay with us, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Here on The Zone, this is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Curie, Jeremiah Jensen, back together again for the first time. No, look, it feels like I'm just glad to be back in the chair. Feels good. Feels normal. I got to get back into a routine, being back to the office. And apparently, while I was gone, look, you could have the thing where the world melts down, JJ. Instead, everything just got better while I was gone.
Amazing.
So there you go. I mean, how long did we have those seances here in the studio to try to get another sports team here?
All you had to do was go on vacation.
I know. Hey.
It's like Hans' joke during the break.
Yeah.
Shows like, hey,
you should go
you
back
need to
out
take
again.
another three weeks so we can get the
Let's
NFL
go.
team.
You know what? That's the kind of sacrifice I'm willing to make. You just tell me when. I'll book a flight.
Company guy right here. Team player.
Joining us on the program right now, Travis Yost from TSN. You could go read his work there, get the download of anything that has anything to do. I tell everybody all the time, TSN is where it's at, man. When you try to get that hockey update, of course, it's the sports network up there in Canada, and that's where you're going to get all your info. And that's why we go to Travis to try to give us the down low on everything that's going on. Travis, thanks for joining the program.
Anytime, guys. How you doing?
Oh, we're so dang excited. I mean, at some point, if you were to tell us a couple of years ago, is a hockey team going to be here? Is a Major League Baseball team going to be here? After the NBA team, of course, which one would come first? And I think most people would say, yeah, probably baseball. We have a little bit more of an appetite for that. I think the speed at which this all happened and went down has amazed all of us. When did you really start to get the idea and the notion that Salt Lake was not just going to be a rumor city for the possibility of the relocation of Phoenix, but really something that we've come to know already now that Ryan and Ashley Smith were dead serious about it?
Yeah, I think it was around – it's a great question, and I think it was around December and January. And I started – front-running might be a little strong, but certainly publicizing to some degree the NHL's real interest in Salt Lake City, not as a theoretical market, but as a two-pronged initiative. One, as a safe haven of sorts to solve what is the SS Titanic down in Phoenix with the Coyotes organization. The second piece was, I think, incrementally, and I think, and I wrote about this quite a bit, I think the Vegas expansion and how incredibly successful that has been, and I know Vegas is a very unique city in that respect, but I think those two things combined, along with the fact that they have a temporary housing facility here at the Delta Center that's obviously going to get refurbed, I think the NHL started piecing this together right around the winter of the 2023-2024 season, and that was coupled with, I would say, exceptionally increasing bearishness over what the Coyotes could play out of. They were slated to play out of Arizona State's College Arena at least until 2027. I don't think they would admit this, and I still don't think they will admit this, and maybe that's contractually binding. I think there's skepticism that the ownership group there I know they've brokered a deal to bring a team back at some point in the future in Phoenix. I think there's real skepticism about the ownership group. I think there's definite skepticism about where they were going to live and play for the next 3-4 years. And I think the last kind of domino effect, once you knew by December, January that Salt Lake was on a very short list of potential cities for the NHL. I think the NHL started doing some math, and I know that they've wanted for quite some time to expand to Houston. That is like the one remaining market that they absolutely are, critically want to be in. And then it was always, well, does Salt Lake make sense? Does Atlanta V2 make sense? Does Quebec City make sense? That's kind of always been in the background, but I think the NHL figured, okay, we've got easy regional relief by moving the Coyotes to Salt Lake. We are killing effectively two birds with one stone because we're solving the Coyotes' 15-year problem. We're invigorating a new market that flat out I think is going to work beautifully for the league. And on top of that, we keep Houston kind of in the back pocket for the inevitable expansion there. So I think it took probably 2 decades too long, but I think this has become a true win-win for the NHL. And I think actually, the differentiating factor is I think Salt Lake, the city proper and the county proper, are ready for a team now in a way they may not have been 10, 15 years ago.
There's no doubt about that, and I think the season ticket deposits within just ever since Friday just is proof of that, how much excitement there is for this to happen. You mentioned that you think that Salt Lake will work. I'd love to dig into that a little bit more. Why do you think the Utah market is going to work for NHL hockey?
Yeah, I'll tell you. So I moved, I wrote about this last week, and I appreciate TSN. I'm like their American import up there. I moved to Salt Lake a couple years ago, and my visceral reaction, having lived here for a few months, I spent the last 10 years or so in Vegas or thereabouts, and I know the cities could not be polar opposites more from one another, and yet there are a ton of similarities when it comes to the business landscape, the sports landscape, the economic boom that both cities are realizing right now. When I look at Salt Lake, I saw effectively the Vegas market about 2010, 2015, which was explosively growing with a very strong backstopping economy. And again, a lot of the other bullets in the chamber are positives, right? In Vegas, just like Salt Lake, you've got an ownership group that not only has the capital to fund the team, but they're aggressive in doing so, or they portend to be aggressive in doing so. You have the ultimate. I mean, Salt Lake is an ultimate winter sports city. I joked to even for people up in Canada, you live in Toronto, it could be a foreign concept. The point I made was like it could be snowing on opening day, it could be snowing game 82, it could be snowing in the playoffs. Like it is a true bona fide winter city in Salt Lake. And the other piece too is I think one of the big concerns for many, many years with Salt Lake was really the population density and what, especially with the NHL, which is such a heavily gate revenue-driven league, I think there were some concerns about does it have the population base to support a team? And the Jazz have been religiously supported, no pun intended, for many, many decades, whether good team, bad team, all teams in between. I think the NHL was left very confident that you've got a sports-crazy town that's going to get behind this. Obviously, to your point, the season ticket numbers have been incredible, just like they were when Vegas announced their expansion program. And most importantly, like it cannot be lost. A lot of this is in relativity, right? It's a gate revenue-driven league, and you hear the concerns about, they may only sit 13,000, 14,000. Well, newsflash, the MTS Center in Winnipeg only sits 15,000, and in relativity, Mullet Arena was capped at 5,000 people, and in some nights it was a struggle to get 5,000 in Phoenix because of how much goodwill that organization had burned down. It's not to say that this is going to be, a slam dunk, easy breezy. Everything is, you're talking about a 6-month max relocation effort by the league. This is an all hands on deck scenario. I would not be surprised to see an extended road trip for this team to start the year to give them more time on any updoings for the arena. But most of the indicators, the economics of the area, the population growth, the fact that a lot of the growth in this country is in the South and the Southwest, those are all positives to the NHL, and it's a very similar reason why they're so interested in places like Houston as well.
Travis Yost joining us. TSN is who he covers hockey with, and it's all across the league. Everything, of course, is I I think people here, we've had minor league hockey. I mean, absolutely. I've told people this a cajillion times too. I was living in Dallas when the North Stars moved from Minnesota to Dallas, and I remember as a kid going, "Are we? There's no way we're a hockey team. This is freaking Texas, man. This is DFW." And it blew up immediately. Like everybody got the entire youth hockey programs across the Metroplex and everything. It just blew up. And it wasn't just because it was something new. It was because fans were just excited to get to understand what the game was about. And I think that's part of it, too, is Ryan and Ashley Smith are not interested at all in being just, a placeholder or a little bit better than the ownership group down there in Phoenix. They want to do their own thing. They want to have and kind of blaze their own trail. And not just be an okay team, but really start to win. And so I think that's the aspect that people really enjoy, too, is the idea that this team could win in the next couple of years. I'm not saying win necessarily the Stanley Cup, but I think certainly until people understand what playoff hockey looks like in the NHL, until it comes here, we're not going to really understand it. So draw a picture of this team, this Arizona Coyotes team as it was last year, over the last couple of years, and it's not just. I mean, you're seeing so many people coming up with the team, obviously, and from that organization. Draw us a picture, Travis, of what this team can do in the next couple of years.
Oh, I'll hit a few notes there. Number one, you hit an important one. They are not taking over the Coyotes of 2015, 2016, 2017. For as much as that organization self-sabotaged and underfunded that roster really for 10, 15 years, the one thing they have done in recent years is make a ridiculously concerted effort, in part to be as let's say, fiscally prudent. I was going to use a different word. Fiscally prudent as possible. But the team is just reaming and has been for a few years with very young players, many of which are capable, many of which were taken very high in the draft. And, guys like Clayton Keller are fixtures across the NHL. Everyone knows Clayton Keller, but the rest of that lineup is ripe with 19 to 24-year-old players who are really on the upwards trajectory. And you don't have to take my words for it. Go look at how competitive the Coyotes were this season, especially the last 3-4 months of the regular season relative to what they had done in the 5 years prior, right? It's easy to, a Coyote fan doesn't want to hear that when you miss the playoffs by 10, 15 points. But this was a very competitive team. This was not a bad team. They missed the playoff cut line by a fair bit, but they have a very young, promising roster. Most importantly, in a very hard cap league, they have very little financial liabilities on the balance sheet. In fact, the Coyotes are pretty notorious for housing bad contracts and getting paid in the way of draft picks and prospects to take those bad contracts on from other teams. Said another way, in a hard cap league where you truly cannot spend, in excess of 84, 85, whatever the cap limit is set at, the Coyotes have the financial flexibility to spend immediately and to a significant degree. Do I expect the Smith ownership group and the front office to go out and land 3 of the 5 biggest fish this summer? Probably not. I think they've got a lot of first off, I think they've got a lot of leverage, number one. But number two, more importantly, I think they want to see with this roster for what it is and what it is not, and tinker with maybe a year 2 effort to kind of go around market and see what they can add. But there is just an awful light. This is a team on a massive upswing, and that's not hype, right? That's just the reality of when you have very little damage in contracts, a team loaded with young players, and most of those young players were the ones outperforming just this season in Phoenix. Those are really promising indicators. The other piece that I would emphasize, and you said it, and I cannot encourage this enough. Put on a playoff game. Tonight, you're going to watch Dallas Stars, Vegas Golden Knights. That's game 1, speaking of Dallas. That could, in another world, be a Stanley Cup caliber preview. It's being played in the first round. It's some of the most exciting hockey you're going to watch. I've long argued that the first, second rounds of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs are some of the best things across all 4 major sports. Please, if you want to get a little early excitement, turn on a couple of the games tonight, and you will be left jaw on the ground. Last thing, and most importantly, because you hit on it, and I think it is the one issue in Salt Lake, especially when it comes to hockey. The youth hockey is minimal to non-existent, as you pointed out. It was 30 years ago in Dallas. It was 20 years ago in Phoenix. There's going to be a lot of effort, and it's going to take a lot of time to build that grassroots youth program all the way up. But if you don't think it can be done, and this is kind of the sad part of the Phoenix saga. Look around the league at how many players are in the NHL now from the Phoenix area. In the Maple Leafs organization alone, you have the leading goal scorer, Austin Matthews, from Phoenix, with the winger from Scottsdale on the same line for a playoff team. So this will happen. It will just take a lot of time, and it takes a lot of effort and initiative, but the Smiths seem committed to it.
It's all exciting. I could not agree with you more on that Dallas Stars Golden Knights series. It's going to be awesome. I think the TV ratings are going to go way up in this market during the Stanley Cup playoffs, because the reality is, in 1 year, this Utah franchise, whatever it's named, could actually be participating and competing for Lord Stanley's Cup, which absolutely blows our minds. It's so awesome. Last one for you, Travis. Have you been able to gauge reaction around the league and league circles about the addition of Utah? How do people that cover the league, that work in the league, that follow the league feel about this addition?
I think it's two things. I think my visceral response is a massive sigh of relief, because to a man or woman, they saw Phoenix as completely and wholly untenable, and they are finding immediate relief. And by the way, it should not be lost on this conversation. Back to your original question about timing and when we started to realize that Salt Lake had a real chance to win a team. One of the things that I think pushed us over the goal line was the new head of the Players Association basically saying it would be flat out unacceptable to continue having players play in this rinky-dink college arena in Phoenix for an extended period of time. And I think the NHL, who has taken many, many lumps over the Coyote saga, I think that was a bullet that actually hit a critical part of the body for the NHL. And I think that shifted the mentality. I think the other thing, and it goes back to the Vegas point, and it also goes back to the Avalanche too specifically, the NHL by and large has had a lot of success building these Sun Belt and Southern markets. Like you guys probably remember this, 10, 15 years ago, this was a very hotly debated subject about the financial wherewithal and really long-term capability of these franchises. Phoenix is more lately than, at least over the last decade, Phoenix is looking like an exception to the rule, not the rule. And the reason why I say that, Carolina's been a big win for the league. Vegas has been the best business decision they've made in 2 decades. Nashville is in the playoffs. Their fan base is rabid. That is an absolute bona fide hockey town. San Jose and Los Angeles speak for themselves. Tampa Bay, repeat Stanley Cups. Tampa Bay is an all-time hockey town. The only 2 organizations where you kind of point and look and say, not so great. Phoenix, disaster. Again, like I said, exception to the rule. Anaheim hasn't been great, but then again, you're kind of you got 2 markets there, right? Between Anaheim and LA, you're kind of eating in the market share of one another. Said another way, I think it goes to the general macro sentiment. The league over time has realized that most of their growth effort in the southern United States and the southwest United States has worked. And in large part, it's because where this country has shifted, right? A lot of people moving south, a lot of people moving west. And when you get transplants, especially transplants coming from those northeast cities like myself, I'm a former New Yorker, right? Like, we grew up with hockey, and now hockey is kind of going, if not globally, it's certainly hitting all parts of North America at this point, right? And you'd like to see a little more push south, but I think the league, like I said, I think the league sees massive sigh of relief finally ending the Coyote saga, and and encouraged by Utah. Like I said, I think if there's one concern, it's not about how this team will do in the first few years here. I think it's going to do fantastic. I do think what the NHL is going to be watching a little more closely is that 3 to 5 year effort to stand up youth hockey programs and the stuff that really underpins permanent growth and permanent longevity in these cities. I think that's what the league's going to be watching, and I think it's incumbent on the city, the counties, to kind of rally behind that.
Travis Yost, it's just an easy follow on Twitter or on X, I guess. Travis Yost, at Travis Yost, easy enough. TSN.ca is where you can find his byline as well. Travis, you're going to hold our hands through this whole thing like many of the other hockey media guys who we've been able to get to know, guys and gals who are helping us understand a little bit more about the game, and we're happy to have it. Thanks for hanging out with us, man.
Anytime, guys. Thank you guys a ton.
You bet.
There you go. Travis Yost. Boy, you hear these guys. Look, when they're covering it day in and day out, and they're as excited as they are about it, and they know how much this franchise needed a boost, and that these are the perfect ownership. These are perfect owners to be able to boost them up. It's awesome to hear.
This is such a home run for the NHL, and it's a home run for us, so it's a win-win, right?
Yeah.
Love
Absolutely. ESPN, by the way, you can watch all the hockey you can handle tonight, man, on NHL playoffs.
They were awesome
Unbeatable.
last night. If you guys weren't watching, like the Winnipeg in Colorado, the final was 8-7.
No.
Just nuts, right? No, 7-6. It was nuts. In the Vancouver game last night, they're great. It's great. Like Travis said, watch the first 2 rounds of the Stanley Cup playoffs in preparation for having our own team, and you'll be hooked. It's going to be a blast.
Take a break here. We'll come back. We got more to go around the corner. I think we might have to squeeze in very quickly some Weekend Warriors. Each Wednesday, by the way, the KSL Sports Zone going to do a Win Ticket Wednesday. You can win tickets to Aerosmith at the Delta Center coming up on November 27th of this year. Aerosmith tickets this Wednesday. We're going to be giving away all across the station all day long. Stay with us. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. Presented by G2G Bars. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It is JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Keary and Jeremiah Jensen back together again after a couple of weeks of some time off for me. Nothing happened during that time, so it's fine. Nothing happened over the weekend. Nothing for our Weekend Warriors either. Oh, wait a minute. Tons happened. By the way, our Weekend Warriors is always brought to you by Gillette Heating and Air. Right now, get seasonal maintenance done on your furnace, $59. See GilletteHVAC.com for more information. You got to get everything dialed up for summer as well. I had the thing where we're kicking on heat and AC all in the same days here, JJ. Like, this is that weird time of year. So
Yeah, it's spring in Utah.
It's like hot, cold. I love all of it, but man, hard to keep up with.
Pick a temperature. Come on, spring.
Giannis, of course, out. Entered Damian Lillard, who entered I think what is, from a record standpoint, 35 first-half points is one of the best in the history of the NBA, if not the best, leading the Bucks past the Pacers in Game 1 in the Eastern Conference. Take a listen.
Lillard's defended by Nembhard, who's crowded him outside, gets the contact, fires away, and hits the three-pointer anyway.
I think it's awesome. You don't have your superstar in. Enter another superstar to get it done, and I always love seeing Dame doing well.
That's what he was yelling after one of his threes, is that's why you got me. That's why you got me, and that's exactly right. They needed a boost. They're missing your MVP. For him to go in there and do that was pretty impressive. Second highest total by any player in the first half of an NBA playoff game in the past 25 years. The top, Kevin Durant's 38 points in 2019. There you go.
Chicho Arango for Real Salt Lake over the weekend with a brace, 4-0 win over Chicago. We don't need to hear the audio on that. They won, all right? Plus, we're late, right? Is that what you're saying here? We're late.
Here's a ball. Oh, back pass. Chicho shoots and scores. Chicho pounces on that ball, puts it in the back of the net. He's got his 7th goal, and RSL's up 2-0 in the 33rd.
I was kidding. You know, we wanted to hear DJ go, Chicho, Chicho.
Chicho Arango, so hot right now.
And, of course, and by the way, don't try to sneak past an Arch Manning spring game performance on our Weekend Warriors, Jeremy. Come on. I don't care what you did in the spring game. But he did throw for 355 yards, 19 to 25 passing.
The backup quarterback at Texas.
It's never been
He's
so
the
hot right
backup
now.
quarterback at Texas.
And he's actually probably, people think he's more important than Quinn Ewers.
No doubt.
So, all right. I'll take a break here. We'll come back. When we do, around the corner, we're going to jam a little bit more on these NBA playoffs and some hilarious anonymous polls that have gotten me through a Monday, frankly. The anonymous player polls on who the best players are across the league, but not just the best, the most overrated. Jeremiah is just absolutely beside himself. The offense has been taken. All right,
I may throw things.
He may get pissed. We'll come back. We got more to go. Stay with us. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.